Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Nishba and I'm coming to you with an episode that just might change the way you think about your gut, your brain, and your blood sugars.
Hi friends, I'm Vanishka and I'm really glad we are virtually connected. This isn't about any science fiction, this is about the science that we need to understand, especially if you are or someone you love is living with diabetes.
Absolutely, Kanishka. So, whenever we've been managing diabetes for years, supporting someone who is, or just curious about your body's inner wisdom, this episode is just for you. And don't worry, we are bringing research, not rumors, no gimmicks, no fluke.
Okay, so let's break it down. What is this gut brain axis that we keep hearing about?
So, Kanushka, the gut brain axis is a two-way communication network between your digestive system and your brain. It uses nerves, hormones, and immune signals, especially the vagus nerve. Think of it like an optic line carrying constant messages between your belly and your brain.
And your gut? It's more than a digestion machine. The scientists also call it the second brain. It's fact the neurons, like brain-like cells, that makes like 90% of your body serotonin, which we call it the mood regulator, the sleep regulator, and the happy hormone.
Plus, your gut is a home to trillions of microbes, Kanishka. The gut microbiota, these are tiny organisms that helps you digest and break down your food. They influence inflammation, immune responses, and even how your body manages its blood sugars.
So this isn't just about the gut talk. It's the whole body talk. Your gut is talking, your brain is listening. It's like the conversation between these two.
Absolutely correct. Let's zoom in on diabetes. Many people still think it's just about your sugars and insulin, but we know there's much more going on.
So I totally agree with you, Nishra. And recent researchers have also shown that people with type 2 diabetes also often have this gut dysbiosis, which is also called the disbalance in the gut, right? Which leads to poor immune response, poor insulin response, and also how hungry or how full they feel. They are not able to analyze it.
That's so correct. So, one 2022 review in Nature Reviews Endocrinology highlighted certain bacteria like Akkermansia and Faecalibacterium that are actually very protective. They produce short chain fatty acids like butyrate, which improves insulin sensitivity and helps maintain a gut barrier.
I agree with that. It's so true. And like the diets that are heavy in processed foods, right? So they tend to mess up with your metabolism and also tend to like increase your blood sugars. These are the Clostridium strains. These are the wrong kind of bacteria, or we also call this at the negative, not so good, the bad bacteria.
So correct. And if I also talk to you about, so it is not just about what you eat, it's also about how your gut and your microbe handle what you eat.
Meanwhile, the diets that are heavy in processed foods, they tend to feed the wrong kind of bacteria. Certainly the Clostridium strains, right? So they mess up with your metabolism, they increase your blood sugar readings as well.
So, what do you think, Anushka? Is it just about what we eat outside? Or is it like more about how our guts and our microbes handle what we eat?
I think it's our gut and the microbes that plays a bigger picture with us.
Absolutely correct.
Another piece of this puzzle, the leaky gut. When your gut lining is compromised, all the toxins and the bacteria can like slip into your bloodstream.
Exactly. And that actually triggers chronic low grade inflammation in your body. Something we now know plays a crucial role with your insulin resistance.
A 2021 study in Frontiers in Immunology said that the gut derived endotoxins actually change the way how we process glucose.
Mhm.
So it's like a silent fire that disrupts your metabolism from within.
And in type 1 diabetes, some researchers believe early life gut imbalances may even contribute to autoimmune attack in insulin producing cells.
That's true.
Correct.
Let's get real. How does this science actually show up in everyday life?
It starts with food, Kanishka. A low fiber, ultra processed diet starves the good bugs in your gut. But a fiber rich diet, fermented food, and plant diversity can help them thrive.
That's true. Then there's sleep. It's like your gut microbes also follows a rhythm like you. It's like in a recent 2020 study, it was shown that even 2 bad nights sleep can mess up your gut bacteria.
I absolutely agree to you, Kanishka. And stress. Chronic stress disturbs the vagus nerve, weakens the gut lining, and feeds the bacteria that thrives in inflammation.
So now let's talk about movement. This exercise is not just about the calories that you burn, it changes your gut composition. And researchers have also shown that even moderate or regular activity of any kind improves how your gut is feeling and like make your microbiota more diverse. It's like a workout for your microbes.
I absolutely agree with you, Kanishka. Exercise improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and it also supports healthy gut bacteria. It's one of the most powerful and free tools we all have.
Even just 30 minutes of regular walking can shift your metabolism, can shift your ecosystem in the right direction.
Absolutely correct. Now, let's give you something to take away. What can you do practically to support your gut and your glucose?
So here's your gut head starter kit. Science back, no BS. First, add fiber, at least 25 to 30 grams of it. You get it from your vegetables, you get it from oats, you get it from your whole grains, and fiber is really, really important for your gut.
Second, don't forget to eat your fermented foods. Think yogurt, kanji, kefir, kimchi, and miso.
Third, cut the junk. All the processed foods that you have, all the refined foods that you have that is really, really not good for your gut and is going to add up the negative, the bad bacteria in your gut.
Fourth, manage stress. Breath work, yoga, journaling, whatever grounds you, do that at least 10 to 15 minutes in a day.
Totally agree with you, Nishpa. I'm talking about the fifth part now, which is sleep. At least 7 to 8 hours of sleep is like a good fuel for your gut microbes.
Sixth, move daily. Walk, stretch, dance, just get your body moving each and every single day. And also, I would recommend Kanishka, consider working with a functional or a health practitioner. If you're curious about probiotics, microbiome testing, or healing a leaky gut.
Yes, the gut is complex, but it can be rebalanced.
Absolutely.
So let's take a moment to talk heart to heart. Managing diabetes can be tricky, it can be isolated, right? We may feel like your body is working completely against you.
Yes. If you are struggling, it is not your fault. There are layers here: genetic, cultural, societal, but more we understand our biology, the more praise we can give ourselves.
Also, this gut break connection shows us something deeper. Healing is not just physical, it's spiritual, it's environmental, it's emotional as well.
Your gut is your inner ecosystem. When you nurture it, you nurture you. This is about more than controlling your blood sugars. It's about finding balance inside and out. Today, we unpacked gut brain access, linked it with diabetes, and shared so many tools to help you support your healing journey.
If this episode helped you think, helped you feel seen, or give you some clarity, share it. Someone in your circle may need to hear it as well.
Thanks for spending time with us. And remember, your body isn't broken, it is brilliant. This was just something that you wanted to hear and might be helpful for someone who needs it. So, do like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. So take care of your mind, take care of your microbes and your meals. Bye for now.